Before life, before history, before even the first breath of Earth, something else arrived. They were not gods. They were not human. They were warforms, forged in the image of what humanity would one day worship, but built for something far darker. They came from the stars, servants of one name, Kael-Tor. They did not come for life. They came for what lay beneath it. And there, they built pyramids. Not monuments, machines. Structures designed to reach into the planet itself, to extract, to convert, to transmit. Each pyramid, a node. Each node, part of a system feeding something far beyond Earth. Then, the sky burned. A celestial impact tore through the planet. Fire consumed the forests. The ground broke open. Life collapsed beneath ash and flame. The system failed. The pyramids went silent. And Earth was left behind. Time passed. The planet healed. Life returned. Civilizations rose. And far beyond the stars, alignment came. The signal returned. And with it, so did they. At a remote military observatory, a signal appeared. A red anomaly. Unclear. Unstable. But real. Something was entering the system. Something not meant to be here. But one man did not react. Captain Rock, calm, still, watching. On his screen, Angela, Bhargava, Auron. Different paths, same pattern, same inevitability. He stood. Let's recruit some bastards, and a fast. I can help. A machine. Awake. Vireon. Secured. Observed. Not because it was trapped, but because it chose to remain. Because trust is built before it is used. Rock accepted it without question. Good. They arrived, one by one, a secured military compound. No explanations. No trust. Angela watched everything. Bhargava said nothing. Auron stayed apart. Then, the sky shifted. A helicopter descended, and from it, Rock arrived. You weren't brought here to be convinced. You were brought here because this planet is already under attack. No hesitation. No doubt. Only fact. This isn't my war. He didn't argue. He didn't wait. He turned and walked away. Because his path lay somewhere else. Far away. The pyramids moved. At first, nothing. A normal day. People. Silence. Then, the ground trembled. Fear spread. The structure shifted. Not breaking. Changing. The top opened. And from within, light emerged. A beam rising into the sky. The Earth was being used. They were already there. Not waiting. Responding. Military convoys surrounded the pyramids. Tanks positioned. Aircraft circling above. Command units established across the desert. Inside mobile command stations, generals and scientists watched the impossible unfold. Energy readings spiked beyond known limits. No known system matched what they were seeing. No known weapon explained it. It's not structural. It's internal. Something inside is driving this. The conclusion came fast. Target the top. If that's where it's opening from, that's where it ends. Missiles launched. Precision strikes. Direct hits. The impact shook the structure. Fire spread across the surface. Smoke filled the sky. And then, nothing. No damage. No reaction. The pyramids did not respond. They continued, uninterrupted. It's not reacting. It's ignoring us. What are we even hitting? Confusion spread faster than the fire. For the first time, they were not in control. Then, a new presence entered the field. A helicopter cut through the smoke-filled sky, descending, controlled, purposeful. And from it, our heroes arrived, not rushing. Vireon activated, sensors adjusting, reading, analyzing. Not the structure, but the system. And then, Something else appeared, not from the ground, from above. The sky shifted, a shadow formed. Ships approaching, silent, unstoppable. The beam continued to rise, but now it was not alone, because from that light, they were coming. Then, the ships arrived, and from them, they came. Xeraxis, master of the skies, speed without limit, precision without error. What humans once imagined as gods of flight was only a shadow of this. Vile knock, the drain of life, not through force, but through presence. Strength fades, breath weakens, without warning, without escape. Drak Jewel, the storm given form, lightning that walks, chaos contained within motion, destruction that does not stop. They did not rush, they did not speak. They advanced. Sol Kareth, the commander, power controlled, every movement exact, every strike intentional. Not the strongest, but the one who directs the rest. Gravemax's core, the weight of war, every step breaks the ground. Every impact ends resistance. Unstoppable, unavoidable. And above them, one remained. Zorvath, the Watcher, the one who does not act until it matters. Not a soldier, not a weapon. Something beyond both. They were never gods, they were systems, and Earth was part of it. The battlefield became quiet. Humanity stepped forward. An army general approached them carefully. Scientists walked beside him. No weapons raised, only words. And for one moment, it almost felt possible. Then Gravemax moved. Fast, brutal, merciless. The general died instantly. The scientists ran in terror. Soldiers raised their weapons, and the battlefield exploded into chaos. The war began. Angela moved. Bhargava struck. Rock fought. But something was wrong. This was not a fight they understood. Captain, they are not attacking. They are extracting. The pyramids are draining the planet's resources. The system requires purity. The surrounding environment must remain uncontaminated to continue. Then we don't attack the pyramid. We break the environment. He turned to the military. Redirect fire. Hit the ground. Everything around it. Missiles struck the land. Sand exploded. Smoke filled the air. Fire spread across the surface. The environment changed, and the pyramids reacted. The beam faltered, then stopped. For the first time, the warforms changed. Their focus shifted from the planet to the ones who stopped it. They attacked, not testing, not observing. Ending. Angela fell back. Bhargava was pushed. Rock was forced to adapt. They were losing. We're fighting wrong. They're not gods. They're just aliens. Switch targets. Everything changed. They adapted. They moved differently. They broke patterns. And for the first time, the warforms failed. And then he returned. Not for them, not for the world, but for something beyond it. Because if these beings came from elsewhere, then somewhere beyond, there must be a way. One fell, then another, then another. The impossible became killable. Some were destroyed. One remained, broken, captured, and above, one still watched. The smoke settled, the ground burned, the battlefield fell silent. But the truth remained. This was not an invasion. This was a system, and they had only stopped one part of it. Vireon explained everything to the team, about the invasion, about Kael-Tor, and about the worlds his armies had already erased. Vireon warned them about what was coming, about Kael-Tor, about the armies moving through galaxies, destroying entire worlds in their path. From that moment, they were no longer individuals. They were a response, a force, a necessity. They were given a name, not by the people, but by command. ESDF, Earth Special Defense Force, a unit beyond nations, beyond divisions, formed for a single purpose: to respond. But the world saw them differently, not as a unit, not as a command, but as something else. Something simpler, something human. They called them the Defenders of Earth.